Hello everyone. So I'm making this video rather spontaneously, and I feel this topic's really could be as interesting as anything. Um, and there could be different areas to explore with it. Basically my internet connection isn't working now, so it seems as pragmatic as anything. It's just about the general nature of people. People in general. That obviously sounds like a very, very broad subject, but I think it's worth talking about a little. In this world, we meet a whole range of people. Clearly, depending on your circumstances, you may be in situations where you meet a more diverse range of people, a less diverse range of people, whatever. You may not have met many people from your own country. You may have met many people from other countries. Every Thursday evening I go to an international social club where people from all over the world meet. There's a lot of British people there, a lot of Chinese people there, a lot of Malaysians, but also people from a lot of other countries. Generally, and the context in which I'm talking about that is that that's an environment whereby I meet a wide range of different people. A lot of them are students, but not everyone. And I enjoy that. I enjoy meeting new people from all over the world. I find it interesting to talk about people, find out about their culture, tell them a bit about life in the UK, whatever. That's just a sort of subtext, perhaps, to this video. But basically, I find, one aspect I would say is that in this world we cannot get on with everyone, and there's going to be some people that we connect with more than others, and that really is beyond our control. Tonight, for instance, I met some people who were very friendly and amicable. I met others who for some reason just came across as a little cold. Now, when I meet people for the first time, I always give them the benefit of the doubt, and I always act, let's say, when I meet people one-to-one, I always give them the benefit of the doubt, and I always treat them in a decent sort of manner. I never put on a false front, but I always show an amicable side, because there's absolutely no reason not to. Sometimes, though, I meet people and for some reason something just doesn't quite connect, and it isn't even about something they've said, a difference of opinion or something like that. Sometimes there's just a lack of connection. Occasionally it may be language differences, but sometimes it isn't even that. It's just maybe something hasn't quite been understood right, or and sometimes some people just come across as a bit colder than others. It doesn't particularly trouble me, but what I'd like to talk about in this video is that in life we simply cannot get on with everybody. Now, clearly in my YouTube videos I'm going to have debates with people. Other people will agree with me, and so on and so on. This is a cyber community. I'm talking specifically about the world outside the cyber community. And likewise, in the real world, so to speak. Some people we get on with, some people we don't. But I don't understand people who just present themselves as somewhat cold or distant. I'm not talking about shyness, that's a different thing. There is a difference between shyness and just being antisocial. A shy person can still be quite friendly, and they can still smile and talk to you, but they're just a little bit cautious of large numbers and that sort of thing. But I could definitely tell the difference between a shy person and someone who is just quite cold. I said about a minute ago it didn't bother me. That's not entirely true. It does bother me a little when people are a bit cold to me, and I really don't know why. I shouldn't take it personally, but I guess it's because I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and I try to treat everyone in a respectful way when I meet them for the first time. Not fake. I mean, I never put on a huge front pretending to be their best friend or something like that, but I don't know. What do people think about this? How do you treat people when you first meet them? Do you think it's better to give everyone the benefit of the doubt? Sometimes it could be a case that you've heard something about someone and you're a little wary. For example, you may be a girl and you've heard a guy is a womanizer, so you may be a little bit funny with him. Or you may be someone who's heard that a particular person is a racist or is bigoted in some way, but then if they're being decent towards you, how do you respond to them? I mean, if they have a reputation but they're being decent personally towards you, do you forget that reputation and just treat them the way they're treating you? Or what's people's thoughts? My stance is that I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Clearly some people I warm to more than others, but initially when I first meet anybody, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. For anyone who doesn't know what that phrase means, it just means to assume positivity, to assume that it's they're a decent person, they're an okay person. But in this world, we're not going to be friends with everyone. Most people we meet are going to be either acquaintances or someone we've just happened to meet in a situation. Then others will become good friends with, and very occasionally we'll come across adversaries or opponents, enemies. Hopefully that won't be common, but the reality of the situation is sometimes it is the case. I have few, if any, enemies in person. There's people I have strong disagreements with. I have a lot of acquaintances and some people I would call good friends. But this video really is a bit of dialogue about interaction between people. You know, there's 7 billion of us. We're not all going to agree on anything. Some people are going to connect in a certain way, others aren't. Now, for example, I'm agnostic. That's my religious stance. When I meet religious people, I'm always very civil towards them, and most of the time they're very civil towards me. Sometimes there's an awkwardness when they ask me if I'm a believer, and I tell them not exactly. The best thing I think we can do as people is be honest about our own conviction. And if we don't know what our own conviction is, then don't seek confrontation. I think if someone says something you really, really have an issue with, then that's okay to tell them. But avoiding confrontation is not cowardice. It's pragmatism. So sometimes I feel like I don't quite agree with what that person's just said, but I'm going to pass it because I don't want an argument. I've just met this person, maybe it was a misunderstanding, etc. It happens quite a lot. The nature of human communication is that occasionally people will be misunderstood. You can be the cleverest person in the world, the best communicator in the world, and even then you can be misunderstood by someone. We cannot please everybody all the time. I think when it comes to communication, I'm talking about the real world basis here, not so much on the cyber world. All we can really do is be decent people. Don't be cold to people when there's no reason to be cold. If someone's being friendly to us, then we should try and be amicable back. If we know something about that person we don't like, then okay, we don't have to be fake and pretend we like them, but at the same time we don't have to seek hostility. I think my logic is sort of try and have a positive outlook with everyone we meet for the first time. If we get to know someone we don't like, warm to them, that's fine, then that's that. But for the first time, I think people should try and have a positive outlook, and try and be open-minded, try to speak to different types of people. That doesn't mean changing your own positions, your own ideology or whatever, but it's good to speak to a wide range of people from all backgrounds, not just from your own country, from different countries, not just from your own religion, from different religions, and so on. And just be comfortable in yourself. I think people who are comfortable in themselves will be more positive with others. Those are my kind of general ideas. Yeah, that's really my logic for this video. In this world, it's inevitable that we have to deal with other people, and sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes we just want to be on our own. And certainly in Western culture, we're not entirely accustomed to always being around other people. We value independence. In other parts of the world, that isn't quite the case. But that independence doesn't mean it comes at a price of being antisocial or whatever. I try to get on with anyone I meet. It doesn't mean I'm fake. I won't pretend to agree with people just for the sake of it. And I will state my mind if I feel that's necessary. But at the same time, we shouldn't seek confrontation for the sake of it. How do people feel? Does anyone out there find awkward situations? Do you find communication hard? I mean, you're very welcome to leave comments here. You might find it easier to communicate online. Do you find a real world scenario? If you're not a very confident person, maybe you find it difficult to really state your mind all the time. Maybe you're a shy person, you find that difficult. There's a lot of different scenarios. People are different. I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin. I know who I am, and I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, that's it really. Let me know your thoughts. This isn't so much about, I'm not telling you to say what is your personality, just more how do you deal with other people on a day-to-day basis. I don't mean people you know very well, or even work colleagues. I mean, let's say acquaintances. Do you give them the benefit of the doubt and sort of treat everyone with a positive outlook? Are you a bit wary about strangers because you're shy, or do you feel maybe you have difficulties, and feel free to express the reasons why you feel you may have those difficulties? Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios. Every year I meet hundreds, perhaps thousands of different people. Because of the way the sort of social life I have and the sort of places I go, I do meet a very wide range of people. And that's interesting. Sometimes people take me off guard and they'll come out with something that I think, whoa, that's a bit... But most of the time I don't seek confrontation. I don't particularly enjoy it. Occasionally I will, but generally I just try to get on with people. So let me know your thoughts. I'm still talking here, because I'm sure there's many angles with this that we can take. Sometimes at special occasions, we meet lots of people. And in a large group, that can be overwhelming, because you think you're trying to meet lots of different people at once, and it can be difficult to just focus on one person. Or maybe if I'm being honest, I've been in situations whereby I've been stuck with one person, and I'm really finding I'm really not connecting with that person. I've tried to find excuses to leave. I can't bring myself to be cold or rude and say, you're boring me, I'm going to go somewhere else now. That's not in my nature. But I have been in situations where I'd rather move elsewhere. But I'm always wary. I try very hard not to be cold towards anyone. Unless with very good cause, like they've come out with something I find genuinely insulting, or... Generally, I try to have a positive outlook with everyone. And I'm not saying I'm Mr. Congeniality. There's people I have arguments with, but how do you interact with people on a daily basis? Do you have a job which is you're really involved with people, you have to be a real people person? Are you more independent and introverted? Let me know your thoughts. Like I say, I'm going to keep talking until the time's up, 15 minutes, because there's a lot of angles I can take with this. Sometimes, in romantic situations, people might find that awkward, sort of, for example, a ball or Valentine's Day or something. Christmas. There's a lot of social occasions where people might find that actually a lot lonelier than other situations. I'll make another video about loneliness. This video is basically about human communication. So, give me some ideas. Let me know your thoughts. Do you get on well with people on a daily basis, etc., etc.? Okay, thanks.